Hello students, today we are going to start with the new chapter of our NCERT System of Particles. Okay, and this is very important portion because from now on we are going to proceed and study about rotational mechanics. We have studied kinematics till now, we have studied motion in a straight line, but from here the journey of rotational mechanics starts. Okay. In system of particles, the first and most important topic that we are going to deal with is center of mass. Okay, center of mass. Now center of mass is of huge relevance to us. Why? Let me give you few examples. Suppose you have got a ball, a cricket ball, leather ball, season ball, okay, and you throw that ball upwards. You throw that ball upwards with a spin, okay. You provide ball with a spin and you throw it upwards, okay. So this is my ball, okay, and we throwed it upwards. So what's going to happen? It's going to move in the upward direction with some spiral type of rotation. It is going to rotate plus it is going to move in upward direction. Yes or no? So if I consider motion of any particular particle in this ball, let us say I consider the motion of this particle called A. So what will be the motion of this particle? It will perform something like this spiral type of motion, and direction of motion is vertically upwards, and direction of motion is vertically upwards. Just imagine a ball, you spinned it and threw it upwards. So a particular particle is rotating and moving upwards. It is doing two things simultaneously. There is a rotation and a vertical motion. Okay, now this is what this is what a particular particle called A is doing. Hello, I am concentrating on the motion of a particular particle of this ball. What about motion of some other particle? Let's say this particle B. Its motion will be different. It will move in the vertical direction, but spin of this particle will be something else. What about motion of another particle? Let's say this particle called C. Now motion of particle C will also be different, and there are so many particles in this ball, innumerable particles. Therefore, if I want to understand the motion of this ball, if I want to study motion of this ball when I have spinned it and threw it upwards, it is impossible for me to determine the motion of each and every particle and study that motion. Why? Because there are so many particles and every particle is performing a different type of motion. Then what's the way out? How to do it? The easiest and most feasible way for us is the way of center of mass. What I can do is that this object will have a center, this object or ball will have a center, and its mass will be oriented at its center. This cricket ball, its mass is distributed uniformly, yes or no, over the surface. So it will have a center of mass where its mass will be oriented. Okay, so if I talk about the motion of this center of mass, I am talking about the motion of center of mass. Now just imagine, okay, now this center of mass is performing only vertical motion. Just imagine, ball is rotating, every particle is rotating, and ball is moving in the upward direction. So center of mass is only getting elevated, it is moving in the upward direction. This is the motion of center of mass. Now I have determined the motion of center of mass, and in accordance with the motion of center of mass, now it is very easy for me to determine the motion of any particle. Now I can determine the motion of any particle because I know the motion of center of mass of this ball. Yes or no? This is how center of mass is so helpful to us. Imagine determining the motion without the use of center of mass in this case. How tedious it would have been. Let's take another example. This was example number 1. Let's take another example. Okay. Example number 2. Okay, I've got this marker. See, I've got this marker. Now what I do is, I throw this marker. I throw this marker like this. I rotate it. See, I provided a type of rotation to it, yes or no? And now I have thrown it like this. So what will happen? This marker will go like this and then it will fall. It will go like this and then it will fall. It means if I try to draw the motion, see, the motion will be something like this. This is my marker, okay, and I've thrown it. So if I talk about any particular particle, say this particle, so what is the motion of this particle? Let me call it F. So F is going to rotate like this, yes or no? Plus it is going to perform a projectile motion, yes or no? Because marker is rotating and falling. So marker is doing two motions at a particular time. At any instant of time, marker is rotating and performing projectile motion. So all the particles of this marker are also subjected to two type of motion. They are rotating plus they are performing projectile motion. Yes or no? Now this is what I said about particle called F. What about any other particle? Now if I take any other particle of this marker, that particle will also undergo rotation plus projectile motion. But in that case, rotation will be a bit different. If I choose any other particle, it will also perform rotation and projectile motion. But in this case also, rotation will be a bit different. Therefore, to determine the motion of a marker or to study the motion of a marker with the help of individual motion of each and every particle is literally very tedious and awesome work. Not awesome, awful. It is really awful work. Then how to understand the motion? The best possible or feasible way for us is that if we select the center of mass of this marker, this is the center of mass, and we just focus on the motion of center of mass. Just focus on the motion of center of mass. Forget about the motion of each and every particle. So see, motion of center of mass is only projectile. Motion of center of mass is only projectile. Thereby, now the things have become very easy for us. Now I have to just encounter only single type of motion, that is projectile motion, and therefore I can predict or I can tell the motion of this marker. Yes or no? Therefore, we understand that by use of center of mass, our complex problems become very simple, and we can solve these problems with minimal efforts from our side. Such is the importance of center of mass. Let me give you one more example. Then you will understand that how relevant this center of mass is. Not only this, see, I take a very common example. Suppose I have got this wheel, okay? This is a wheel of a bicycle, anything. It is a wheel, okay? And this wheel is rotating. This wheel is rotating, okay? So it is rotating since force is applied like this, and it is moving in the forward direction, but it is performing rotation also, yes or no? It is rotating also like this. It is rotating and moving forward. Tell me yes or no? Yes or no? Now if I ask you what is the magnitude, and I tell and wait a minute, we also know the mass of this wheel. Say mass is m, okay? Let's say mass is m, okay? Now I ask you what is the force that is applied on this wheel if it is moving with the velocity v and its mass is m. We all know that force is equal to mass into acceleration, yes or no? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. But in this case, whose acceleration you are going to take? Whose acceleration will you take? You will say that, sir, we will take the acceleration of this wheel. You will say that we will take the acceleration of this wheel. My question is, which particle of wheel? See, this particle has got different acceleration. It is moving in this direction, its velocity is different. This particle has got different acceleration. This particle has got different acceleration. This has got different acceleration. And all these motions of each and every particle, they have combined together to form the motion of this wheel. So each and every particle is subjected to a different type of acceleration, yes or no? Each and every particle is subjected to different type of acceleration. So which acceleration are you going to take? Which acceleration are you going to take to determine the force acting on the particle? So dear students, in such cases, we always take the acceleration of center of mass. We always take the acceleration of center of mass. Okay, so in F equals to ma, a is the acceleration of center of mass. It is the acceleration of center of mass. Getting my point? Okay, now even if you calculate the momentum of this wheel, see, what is the formula of momentum? P is equal to mass into velocity, yes or no? So mass you can take, I agree with it. But what about velocity? Whose velocity you are going to take? Velocity of each and every particle is varying, yes or no? Each and every particle has got different velocity. See, this will have v1 different direction, it will have v2 different direction, this will have v3 different direction, this will have v4 different direction. Velocity is a vector quantity. It has got magnitude plus direction. All these particles have different directions of velocity. All these particles have different directions of velocity. So velocity is different for all the particles. Which velocity you are going to take to determine the momentum? Again, so dear students, the answer is again same. We are going to take velocity of center of mass. We are going to take velocity of center of mass, and thereby we will be able to calculate momentum of this entire wheel. Thereby we will be able to calculate momentum of this entire wheel. Okay, so such is the relevance of center of mass. Even in the cases of collisions, which we will study in the later phases of this chapter, I will teach you, there will be set of lectures on it. even in the cases of collisions, this center of mass will play a very important role, and because of this center of mass, you will easily be able to determine the different momentums and whatever the requisite is. Okay, so now it is clear to you that how important and grievous this topic is for us. It's going to make things very simple for us. Therefore, it is very important for us. So let's get started and study about center of mass. Okay? Let's get started with center of mass. Now, our first question is how to determine center of mass of any body. What is the approach? We have got a body, okay, I agree. But how to determine the center of mass? Where is the center of mass of a body? Where is it located? How do we know? Is there any process by which we can determine the center of mass? So let's first explore this question and learn that how we can determine the center of mass of a body. Okay. So how to determine center of mass of a body. Okay. Now I am going to segregate this process. How? I will tell you according to different cases the way of determining center of mass. So first I will consider case 1. Okay. Now suppose I have got, first look at it, then I will make you write. First see it, first understand the concept, then I'll tell you when to write. Okay. Suppose I have got this disc. You can see this is a disc, uniform disc. So if I ask you that where will be the center of mass of this disc, so you can see it is a normal disc. The mass of this disc is evenly distributed. The mass of this disc is evenly distributed throughout its figure or throughout its shape. Yes or no? Mass is evenly distributed. So in such cases, the geometrical center, in such cases where mass is evenly distributed throughout the body, in such cases the geometrical center of that body will be the center of mass of that body. In such cases, geometrical center of the body will be center of mass of the body. This is center of mass of a disc. This is center of mass of a disc. Similarly, if I take a ring like this, okay, this is a ring. Again, mass is evenly distributed, so center of mass of the ring will be geometrical center of the ring. Center of mass of the ring will be geometrical center of the ring. This will be the center of mass. Okay? Agreed? Right. So based on this, I can write a statement. Okay? Based on these things which we all just saw, that if body has got even distribution of mass, then we can say that center of mass of a body is located at its geometrical center. So let's write this thing. For this case, we can write okay, let's write when mass of a body is distributed when mass of the body is distributed throughout the body then geometrical center of body is its center of mass. Clear? That if body's mass is evenly distributed, then geometrical center of a body is its center of mass. Clear to everyone? Okay, let's move ahead and let's see a case. Let's observe a case. Okay, now suppose I have a coordinate system like this. Okay, this point is 0, 0. This point is 0, 0. Okay, and I have a mass, say m1. It is not visible, right? This one. Okay, I think now it is visible. I have a mass m1 and another mass m2. Okay, the distance of m1 from the origin is r1 and distance of m2 from the origin is r2. Okay, now if I ask you what is the center of mass of this system, the system containing two masses m1 and m2, what is the center of mass of this system? And I have also provided you their coordinate with respect to origin. From origin, m1 is located at the distance r1, and from origin, m2 is located at the distance of r2. Yes or no? So you know, it is very easy. Their mass will lie, the center of mass, their mass, by the sentence their mass, I meant center of mass. Okay, so the center of mass of this system will lie somewhere in between them. You have this idea? It will lie, for this system, the center of mass will be somewhere in between them. Okay, so let's say here is the center of mass, RCOM, of this system, somewhere in between them. This is where it will be. Yes or no? Then how to determine the coordinates of RCOM? How to determine the exact position that where center of mass is? See, I have taken abrupt case where I have taken two masses. I have given you the coordinates with respect to origin, and I am asking you how to determine the exact position of center of mass. So the way out is that RCOM will equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 divided by m1 plus m2. This is the process to determine the coordinates of center of mass. This is the process to determine the coordinates of center of mass of a system of this form. Okay, of this form. Okay, now if it is asked that what are the x coordinates, what are the coordinates according to x-axis, so you can tell, see, x COM is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 upon m1 plus m2, yes or no, upon m1 plus m2. Distance of mass 1 along the x-axis from origin plus distance of m2 along x-axis from origin, multiply and add them divided by their total mass. Simple. If y-axis is asked about, so coordinate of y-axis, center of mass will be again m1 y1 plus m2 y2 divided by m1 plus m2, right? And z coordinates in accordance with z-axis, it will be m1 z1 plus m2 z2 divided by m1 plus m2. So these are the coordinates of center of mass for such a system in 3 axes x, y and z. In 3 axes x, y and z. Tell me, is it clear to you? Clear to everyone, yes or no? Okay, clear? So let's move ahead and let's solve a numerical, 1 or 2 numerical on this concept. Then our things will be more clear and we will be able to understand concept in a better way. So let's solve 1 or 2 numericals on this concept. Okay, right. Okay, so let's take one question. Our question is that there is a coordinate system like this and this is my origin, so it will be 0, 0. Okay, a mass is located here at a point 1, 0. Mass located is m. M mass is located at a point 1, 0. Okay, now another mass 2m is located at a point 3, 0. Okay, now we have to determine the position of center of mass. So how to do it? Yes, how should we proceed? It is very simple. We are going to apply that formula which we have just seen. Okay, since the body m and 2m are located along the x-axis, since these bodies are located along the x-axis, so obviously we know that this body's center of mass will also lie along the x-axis. This system's center of mass will also lie along x-axis. Pardon me, I said body in place of system. But you all are intelligent. Getting the concept? See, since this system consisting of mass m and 2m is located along the x-axis, the center of mass of this system will also be along x-axis. Okay, it won't be along y or z-axis. It won't be along y or z-axis. So coordinates along the y-axis of center of mass will be 0 and coordinates along the z-axis of center of mass will also be 0. Yes or no? Agreed? Now let's find out the coordinates of x-axis or coordinates of center of mass along the x-axis. Let's find it out. So x COM, coordinates of center of mass along x-axis. will equal to C, M mass into distance of the mass from origin along x-axis. So M into 1. Yes or no? M into 1 plus this is 2M and the distance from origin along x-axis is 3. So 2M into 3 divided by total mass, that is M plus 2M. What are we going to get? We are going to get 7M upon 3M. 7M upon 3M. M cancels out and the value is 7 upon 3. So this is the position of center of mass along x-axis. This is the position of center of mass along x-axis. If I mark it, see, it will be somewhere here, 2 points, some closer to this 2M mass. We can understand it. Why? Because 2M mass is just double of this M. So center of mass has shifted towards the greater mass. So the coordinates are 7 upon 3, 0. Okay, center of mass. Clear? Is this question clear to us? Yes or no? Okay. Now let's solve another question. Let's solve another question on this concept. Now the question is that suppose we are not even provided with the coordinates. We are not even provided with the coordinates. What do I mean? I mean that suppose it is said there is a mass M, and it is separated from another mass 3M. Okay, mass M is separated from another mass 3M. Distance of separation is D. Distance of separation is D, and we are asked to find the center of mass of this system. Then what to do? So see, in such a case, what we are going to do is we are going to take this first mass as if it is located at origin. Okay, so we assumed that this mass M is located at origin. Take it as a reference mass. So it is 0, 0. Okay, then what will be the position of 3M in reference to M? Position of 3M will be D, 0. Position of 3M will be D, 0. Yes or no? Right? Now we can determine how. So obviously, since it is lying, this system is lying along the horizontal axis or x-axis, it won't have any coordinates of center of mass along y or z-axis. So we will calculate the coordinates of center of mass along x-axis. So x, center of mass, will equal to M into 0, okay, located at 0, 0, plus 3M into D divided by total mass, that is M plus 3M. What are we going to get? We are going to get 3MD divided by 4M. M cancels out. Answer is 3D. 3D upon 4. Answer is 3D upon 4. So a point closer to 3M mass here. 3D upon 4, 0. Obviously 3M is a bigger mass, so center of mass has shifted towards bigger mass. Clear? Okay.